There are 3 points on your body that have an incredible impact on your overall health. If you work with these points every day, you'll really look younger, feel more energetic, and get sick less often. I'll tell you what these points are and how to work with them correctly in this video. I'm Dr. Alice, and make sure you've subscribed to the most helpful channel for your health. I'll start by saying that if we look at why different diseases appear, they all have to do with how our nervous system works. And here, as you can see on the screen, this shows the human nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, and many different nerves. And these nerves regulate our organs. Our nervous system is divided into the part that excites our body and another part of the nervous system. It relaxes us. And many diseases actually appear because of overstimulation of the nervous system. And there are 3 areas, 3 points of focus that we need to work with in order to relieve the nervous system. The first important area is the diaphragm. No matter what health problem you have, working with the diaphragm is very important. Why? Because the diaphragm not only helps your lungs expand and lets more air in, it also regulates the functioning of the nervous system. If the diaphragm becomes stiff and spasmed, it sends a signal to the brain to become excited. As a result, your pulse speeds up and even your blood pressure may rise. And this leads to arousal, meaning cortisol, the stress hormone, starts to be released. And on the other hand, if you work with your diaphragm and your diaphragm relaxes, this reduces the activity of the nervous system. That is, your breathing becomes calm and deep, your pulse starts to go down, and this stimulates the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is responsible for restoring our body. And especially if there is some kind of illness, it is precisely the shift of our nervous system into the parasympathetic state, that is, the state of recovery, that triggers healing. All the properties in our body improve sleep, and the body begins to recover. So, whatever problem you may have, working with the diaphragm stimulates the body's restorative processes. So, what can we do with the diaphragm? If you take a look, the diaphragm is like a dome. You see, it's a dome that separates the abdominal cavity from the chest cavity. When you inhale, what happens to the diaphragm? It contracts, and this dome starts to lower. Very often, due to chronic stress, this dome drops too low, and the ribs are literally restricted. In other words, the ribs get compressed like this. Because of this, your posture can get worse, and your breathing becomes shallow. Your pulse starts to speed up. All of this is connected to arousal or excitement. And the diaphragm is the first to react to any stress, whether emotional or physical. That is, the diaphragm goes into spasm and becomes very stiff. That's exactly why. First of all, I definitely recommend working on your diaphragm. So what can you do? It's breathing. It's really quite important to make absolutely sure that throughout the entire day, you consistently breathe slowly and deeply. And then try to gently pause at the very end of your exhale, thereby creating a slight, beneficial excess of carbon dioxide in your bloodstream. This allows you to stretch your respiratory system and diaphragm so that you can activate recovery mode. What I mean by that? If you breathe too quickly and too often, you actually stimulate your nervous system. If you breathe slowly and infrequently, your nervous system, on the contrary, calms down. That's why breathing techniques where you inhale slowly, for example for 4 seconds, hold your breath for up to 7 seconds, and then exhale slowly, are very effective. 4, 7, 8. You can also just breathe normally, and each time try to extend your exhale downward. It's specifically the exhale that stimulates the vagus nerve and the phrenic nerve through breathing and relaxation. But there's another important point here. If your diaphragm has accumulated a lot of stress, then breathing techniques alone won't have the desired effect. Or you'll just notice the effect too late. There are techniques for relaxing the diaphragm. So what can you actually do? Look, when we breathe, our ribs move outward to the sides and lift up a bit. This happens because the dome of the diaphragm tenses up. What can we do? We can do an eccentric contraction of the diaphragm. In other words, we can hold it in the exhalation phase. So you do a maximal exhale, hold it, press your ribs in. And in this phase of maximal exhalation, try to start inhaling. Do it at about 20 to 30% of your full strength. As you inhale, you'll feel your ribs start to press against your hands, and they'll even want to lift up a little. This happens because the muscles are tensing up. but you don't let the muscle contract. So what happens then? So there's an effect. It's like after isometric relaxation. When you stretch the muscle and don't let it contract, and you hold it for 5 to 7 seconds, the muscles start to warm up and release excess tension. Place your hands on your diaphragm, and now take a gentle breath in, but keep your ribs down until you feel your chest getting heavier. When you feel your diaphragm engage as you inhale, hold it for 7 seconds. And then exhale. And after you exhale, you start pulling your stomach in. When you do a full exhale, the dome of the diaphragm rises upward. If you also do a stomach vacuum at this point, that is, you pull your stomach in under the diaphragm, then this dome rises even higher and starts to stretch. And this technique allows you to relax and stretch a spasmed diaphragm. You tense the muscle, keeping your ribs down, for 5 to 7 seconds. Then you relax. Take a breath in. And then, on a full exhale, you fix the diaphragm in the lower position and do a vacuum. So, when you do the vacuum by pulling your stomach in, it starts to stretch the diaphragm upward. If you do these two combinations regularly, they stretch and relax the diaphragm, and your heart rate decreases. Your heart rate variability increases. Your sleep improves. Overall, you become calmer and more emotionally stable. So, in this way, you train your vascular system so that it gets used to high concentrations of carbon dioxide that accumulate in the blood. And the receptors are activated, making you take a breath. In this way, you stretch and train your ability to breathe less frequently and more deeply. Secondly, you work with the thoraco-abdominal diaphragm. So this step-by-step process, when you tense and relax the diaphragm, stretch it, is actually a powerful practice that can improve and strengthen your nervous system. This is the first point of effort, the area you need to work on for any illness. And it's important to note here that there are practices that create hyperventilation. You don't need to do those practices right now because they stimulate the nervous system. These practices, on the contrary, calm the nervous system. The next area that you need to work with is, of course, the occipital area. Why? If we look at it anatomically, look, these are the upper cervical vertebrae. This is the atlas. This is the second cervical vertebra. Here is the atlas. If you look here, look at the yellow part. These show the nerve pathways. Where do they come from? They come from the brainstem, which is located right under the occipital bone. You see, right here. What does this mean? If the processor in our head overheats, and the brainstem, this is the main processor where all the key life support centers are located. The cardiovascular center, the respiratory center, also the arousal center, fear, parasympathetic control, recovery, all of this comes from here. All of this literally lies on the occipital bone. And now, look, do you see these occipital muscles here? Why are these muscles often in spasm? These muscles are in spasm because of overstimulation that occurs in the nervous system. And all of this is transmitted through the occipital bone to these occipital muscles right here. That's why people who have chronic neck pain, whose occipital muscles are overstrained, often have trouble sleeping as well. And overall, this can increase the likelihood of developing illnesses. And what does that mean? If you work on this area at the back of your head, you can calm your nervous system. There are a lot of benefits to it. You improve blood flow to the brain, venous outflow, and your energy levels go up. And of course, you help your nervous system switch into recovery mode. That's exactly why after this, your sleep improves, the depth of your sleep gets better, because through these muscles you influence your nervous system. This is the foundation, and if you start doing what I'm telling you, you'll understand how it works. What does that mean? It means that you need to regularly, especially before bed, massage these muscles. And this will help calm your nervous system and trigger recovery processes. What do? You just take your thumbs and start working on these areas. Right under the back of your head, here's the occipital bone, and you start moving your fingers here and massaging these areas. You just take it and massage right here. Let's just do it together. Tilt your head back a little. You can even lie down and relax, and just use your fingers to massage these muscles. So, slowly and calmly, we use circular motions to massage for several minutes. And it's also very important to incorporate breathing, like I mentioned. So, inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, Imagine you're breathing out through the tension in the back of your head, letting it go with your breath. In other words, you're dispersing that tension, that energy right here, the stress energy that's built up in this area. Just take a breath in and then make a slow, long exhale. Let's give it a try. And massage the area. Observe what you feel. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, then exhale for 7 to 8 seconds. If you do this regularly, you'll notice that your nervous system will start to calm down. And that's all because everything is interconnected. These occipital muscles, through the occipital bone and the atlas, are essentially connected to the nervous system. By relaxing all these structures in this area, you relieve tension from the nervous system. And the third important area is, of course, the sacrum. If we look at the sacrum, you can see just how many nerve plexuses pass through it. That is, from each vertebra, a nerve plexus branches out. Here is where the lower center of the parasympathetic nervous system is located. That's exactly why the sacrum is often tense. People who are in chronic stress, anxiety, or worry often have a sacrum that is locked up. For a long time, even I, as an osteopath, used to say that many blockages in the sacrum are related to trauma, like falling on the tailbone or sacrum and getting injured. That's why your sacrum is stiff. But now, after studying more deeply and understanding neurophysiology, I realized that even just typical stress, chronic stress, can cause the sacrum to become stiff. Why? Because when the nerves are excited, all the ligaments and muscles in this area tense up as well, and they start to restrict the sacrum. That's exactly why it's so important to work with the sacrum. What can you do with your sacrum? For this, you just need to lie down and place your hand on your sacrum. I recommend simply doing a gentle vibration and also consciously breathing through your sacrum with your attention. At the same time, inhale for 4 seconds and exhale slowly. Again, this is so that we stimulate and activate the parasympathetic nervous system in order to normalize the autonomic functions. And then you will get a healing effect for any illness. If we take almost any disease, there is always an imbalance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. Friends, before I show you the last technique, if you want a healthy nervous system and a constant feeling of energy and lightness, you need to master this course. If you're interested, you can learn about all my wellness programs. The link is right below here, and I'm going to show you how to do the final technique on the sacrum. All you need to do is lie on your side. So, I put a pillow under my head and lie down in the fetal position, and here is where the sacrum is located. So you find your sacrum and place your hand on it. You can put this hand under your head, and you hold the sacrum and make a gentle, light vibrating motion. And then start to breathe through the sacrum, taking a breath in and a slow exhale, dissolving all the tension that's stuck there very calmly. So, with these vibrations, you're simply showing your body and mind that this is the sacrum. There is tension here. And you kind of breathe through it. And this will calm your nervous system because you're stimulating the lower center of the parasympathetic system. These are the sacral nerves that branch out from the sacrum. And what effect will you get? The thing is, when you stimulate the parasympathetic system by working with the diaphragm, the occipital muscles, and the sacrum, you send a signal to the brain. The parasympathetic nervous system is strengthened, meaning the activity of the vagus nerve increases. And the activity of the vagus nerve improves the depth of breathing and lowers blood pressure. It affects your pulse, improves digestion, enhances the function of the reproductive system. In fact, the entire genitourinary system, and most importantly, it improves the function of the neuroendocrine system. And through this, you can address a variety of different health conditions. But that's my recommendation. Do these 3 exercises, they will improve your health. And of course, this is just the foundation. Friends, if you want to look 5 years younger, rejuvenate and lift your face, if you have sagging jowls, nasolabial folds, and also you want to improve your body, get rid of bulging belly, improve posture, and neck hump. If you have problems with women health, I recommend you my Face Plastica program where you will get deep, effective result. Link in description. You can find it at the link below. That's all for today. This was Dr. Alice with you. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see each other again soon.